In this video, I'll run through how I built this coffee table. It was a relatively simple but super satisfying project that also didn't take particularly long to make. If you like the look of this and feel like having a crack at making one of these yourself, I've left some free basic templates in the description and I'll drop some handy hints throughout the video. So this is the design of the table that I'll be making. What I like about it is it's pretty versatile. If you wanted to make it square, you could just leave off the round corners. If you wanted to make it a split top, just don't stick the boards together, and it would be pretty easily scaled up to being a dining table if that's something that you wanted to do. So I'm basing the design off a really commonly found size of lumber in Australia, and that's 38 by 150mm stock. But really the thickness of the wood doesn't make that much of a difference to the final piece. If it ends up being a bit thicker or thinner, it doesn't really matter that much. After cutting my 6 blanks, it's time to flatten them, and I'm aiming for a final thickness of around 35mm. For the top, I'm aiming for a total width of 438mm, which means that each board needs to be 146mm wide. Boards from my local timber yard that are meant to start out at 150mm wide are usually a little bit oversized, but you've still got to allow a couple of millimeters just to joint and flatten the edges. I don't tend to get the tightest edge-to-edge connection straight off the table saw, so I've cut these parts a tiny bit oversized so I can take them back to the jointer and do a very light finishing pass. I'm doing the in-out method where you plane one board with the top face facing into the jointer fence and then plane the mating board with the top face facing out. And this negates any inaccuracy with my jointer fence and leaves me with nice crisp joins that are also perfectly flat. Time for glue up, and if you've also got nice crispy edges, then this should be a walk in the park. And even though these pieces have been accurately milled, it's always a nice added security to have some clamping coals just to make 100% sure that this panel will stay flat. I'm giving these parts a sand as I go. This is partly to remove any glue squeeze out and partly to just break up the sanding process at the end. The next step is to cut the top to its final length, which is 1 metre long, and each leg to 300mm. And at this point, it's probably a good idea to put your parts on a flat surface and just make sure there's no rock or wiggle. The next step is to cut out these half circle shapes from the legs. I'm cutting out these templates on my laser, but this could easily be achieved with a paper template or even just freehanded. Perfect accuracy isn't really required for this bit. Now this half circle offcut will be used for later, so don't go throwing this into the burn pile just yet. The next step in the process is to cut a notch in the leg components for the cross support piece to slot into. I'm aiming for this notch to be about 25mm wide by 50mm deep, and again this doesn't really have to be millimeter accurate as long as it's right in the middle. And that's pretty easy to achieve at the table saw. You set up a stop block on the sled to cut on the inside line of the opposite side of the notch, then flip the part 180 degrees and make the second cut, and this will ensure that that notch is perfectly centered. Then you can just hog away the rest of the material and do this process to both legs. And after this process, a little bit of chisel cleanup might be required. Now that the notch has been cut in the legs, it's time to cut out the cross support piece, and I'm cutting this to 60mm wide, which is a little bit wider than the notch is deep, but I'll get to that later. I'm feeding through an offcut at the same time as I'm thicknessing this cross piece, and I'm going to use that offcut now to help me dial in the table saw blade height to cut a notch in this part that will slot into the notch that was cut into the legs. You could use your actual workpiece for this, but if you accidentally cut off too much, then you'll ruin your actual part as opposed to a bit of scrap. The key to getting this notch to be as accurate as possible is to use the actual workpieces as my measuring devices. That semicircle offcut from earlier is the same width as the notch I need to cut, so I'm setting that up in between my part and the stop block. After making my first cuts to the outer side of the notch, I remove that scrap bit of wood and use this Allen key that happens to be the same thickness as my table saw blade and make the second cut. If I didn't use that Allen key spacer, I'd have a notch that's exactly 1 table saw blade thickness too wide. This is a really handy trick for getting a perfect size dado or notch without requiring any measuring. And then the rest of the notch, again, can just get hogged away. I haven't got a flat grind table saw blade at the moment, so there were a few ridges to clean off, and after doing this the slow method, I decided to clean these up at the router table, but be careful if you do this to not take off too much or bang into the shoulders of the notch. After dry fitting this part, there's still a little bit more material to remove for this cross piece to properly fit into the legs. I'm doing a bit of a convoluted method here of figuring out how much material to take off. You could probably just as easily measure how high to set the table saw blade, but this felt like a clever thing to do at the time. Then it's just a matter of carefully hogging out that extra material. And the main reason I'm going to the extra effort of doing this bottom notch is it just makes the bottom part of that joint a lot tidier. Back to the top of the coffee table, and I'm gluing together this template to cut the round shape to the top. The only tool I've got that I can really cut this out with is the dreaded jigsaw, and I absolutely hate this tool. If anyone out there's got an expensive version of one of these, can you let me know if it makes any difference at all? I've tried different blades and it just doesn't make any difference. It just feels like I'm trying to cut this out with a blunt butter knife that's screaming at me the whole time. After that ordeal, it's time to refine that cut, and this could be done with a sander, but I'm going to be template routing this shape. I'm using this little hinge cutting router bit, and because it's so small, it allows me to cut with the grain then against it without really worrying about it grabbing or tearing. I can make about 3 or 4 passes with this small router bit before I need to swap it out to a larger router and larger router bit to finish it off. The reason I didn't use this bigger bit straight away is just the less it has to take off in one pass, the lower the chances are of pieces chipping off. I'm adding a large round over to the underside of the coffee table, and again I'm doing this process in multiple passes, just gradually lowering that bit each pass to try and avoid chip out. I'm also adding a round over to the outside of the legs. I'm leaving a little bit of material at the start of the cut here. I haven't got a starter pin on my router table, and I've got a healthy fear of spinning sharp things, and I have had a few catches when starting a cut like this, so I just prefer to leave it and clean it up with a spoke shave. Nearly at the finish line here, and I'm adding another bit of rounding to the underside of the cross support piece. Then it's onto the final sand and the glue up. Before I glue this up, I need to cut some notches for these Z-clips to attach the top to the legs. And I'd actually recommend using figure 8 clips for something like this, as they're a little bit more low profile, but really any hold down method would work just fine. And I nearly went this whole project without using the domino, but really it's the easiest way for me to cut these notches. These joints can get a little bit tight after adding glue, but with some persuasion they should go together. Once that's dried, it's time for some finish. And then after attaching the top to the base, it's all done.